Home sweet home. Welcome everybody into another edition of the Hockey Night on Broad Flyers pregame show. Tonight, the Philadelphia Flyers play their first game of the 2025 home slate as they battle the Toronto Maple Leafs once again. And this time is the second of a home and home here tonight in South Philadelphia. And a pleasant good day, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Hockey Night on Broad Flyers pregame show. I am your host, James Scorza, with you for the next 15 minutes or so, as the Flyers coming off a overtime loss on Sunday night as they took on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And after a good but not okay, it's just not okay road trip on the Western road trip, and then finally coming on the East Coast, taking on the Maple Leafs on Sunday night. But the Flyers looking to try to bounce back and try to go back home where they rightfully belong. And they'll be playing the first of many home games to begin the week here on this Tuesday night of NHL hockey. As we always do before we get into our topics of the night, we always recap the previous game that happened on the very important night of Sunday night, as we were all celebrating an Eagles victory and one step closer for the team to try to go back to the postseason. But it was the Flyers starting the night on this Sunday night to begin the first period here in South Philadelphia, as the Flyers got an early response, and it was Tyson Foerster getting the Flyers to break the ice on the opening parts of the game, as he's been continuing to stay red hot for the guys in orange and black and to give them, the good guys, an early 1-0 lead. But right back, though, it was the Maple Leafs on this night on exactly just a couple seconds later, as after Tyson Foerster, who's been on a hot streak himself, it was Matthew Knies on a hot streak himself for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this time he would beat Flyers goaltender Ivan Fedotov, and that would tie the score up at 1-1. But late in the first period, the Flyers looking to try to get some opportunities, but sometimes the goaltender was the big story in this game, and it was the Leafs goaltender Dennis Hildeby who decided to be really a good poise for that game on that Sunday night. But more importantly as well, the Flyers try to get opportunities after opportunities, but still couldn't find the net, and once again still remain tied up at 1. But late in the first period, like I mentioned, Toronto will get a response, and they will find it with a player that I did not expect to be with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but he's on a team that has been playing very well in his tenure in the NHL, is Oliver Ekman-Larsson, beating Ivan Fedotov to give the Maple Leafs a 2-1 lead late in the first stanza. But towards the end of the first period, the Flyers are going to try to get a response and will drop the gloves as the Flyers forward Garnet Hathaway will go toe-to-toe in a scrap with Maple Leafs defenseman Jake McCabe. And in the end, as after the fight was all said and done, McCabe hit the ice and would expect a little bit of more bad blood tonight for the guys in Maple Leafs looking to try to get some revenge against Garnet Hathaway. But he was okay, and he returned to the game after that scrap. And it was a little scary at first, but at the same time, it was good to know that he came back on the ice and he was okay after that fight. But now we go to the second as at this time it was the Flyers are going to try to get a response, as they would do so, as Rasmus Ristolainen try to get the puck in and will dump the puck in, and setting up the puck with Sean Couturier and passing it to Scott Laughton, who scored his first goal in quite some time, and that will tie the score up at 2-2 apiece, and that will stay that way after 40. To the third period, after a stellar period by Ivan Fedotov, who stopped Maple Leaf chance after chance, especially a chance for Mitch Marner to do a little bit of a dipsy-do, I guess you want to call it like that. And obviously, he made sure that Fedotov was going to get beat, but it's still Fedotov standing tall, and Leafs goaltender Dennis Hildeby was standing tall in that one, and the score would remain tied 2-2 at the end of regulation. To overtime and the 3-on-3 session, and this Sunday night, it was skated up by Austin Matthews, who, by the way, who's been on the tear for the Flyers as we get closer and closer to the key matchups of the game, as this time he was set up defenseman Morgan Riley for the game-winning goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they would get the 2 points out of it, Flyers getting 1 point out of it in overtime, and they would take it 3-2 that night in Toronto on that Sunday night of NHL action. Setting the stage for this game here tonight as this team looks to try to get back on track after this. But let's get back into our key matchups of the game here tonight for the Flyers. It's been a constant reminder for the guys in orange and black as of lately who have not been playing well against teams that are over 500 and also playing, I wouldn't say inconsistent, but it's kind of been an inconsistency woe for the guys in orange and black looking to try to get an edge. Obviously, on Tuesday night, not on Tuesday night, the last time the Flyers actually won a game was the last Tuesday night of 2024 as they closed out the new year in 2024 with a victory on New Year's Eve against the San Jose Sharks and looking to try to avoid another losing streak from occurring. And obviously, it's a big thing that the Flyers have to do if they want to get back in playoff contention is start to beat the teams what they have on their schedule. And this is, like I said, is the first game of a home and home tonight as the Flyers begin. The Flyers, the last game the Flyers took on the Maple Leafs was on Sunday night, and it's the first game, or the second game rather, of a home and home, as now they will play a couple more home games along the way in 2025 to begin the new year. So this is the first of many home games for the guys in orange and black to try to get their footing. As for the Maple Leafs is concerned, is that it's been like I said in the key matchups in this game, is that it's the captain Austin Matthews who has a streak going on with the Flyers right now. And this was a stat that I did not know about until we talked about in the beginning parts of the game, but has a point streak going on right now as he has 9 consecutive points going in to this game tonight against the Flyers, and also going back to last season. And it was also a trend to continue on that game on Sunday night, and I can expect it will be more the same, hopefully it won't be more the same here tonight in this matchup against the Flyers here tonight in South Philadelphia. All right, let's check out who's trending up and who's trending down on this very important Tuesday night of NHL action. For who's trending up, it's been a big surprise, but it's actually no surprise as of lately for the guys in orange and black. The presence of Tyson Foerster being the player he's been, obviously, the last couple games and starting to shape up in style. And it feels like a constant reminder of going on streaks. There's many players that the Flyers have had all season long. You think about it started with Owen Tippett, then it was with Travis Konechny, even like Noah Cates here and there. And I expect more of the same here tonight in this game as Tyson Foerster, like Jim Jackson would call it. He's become red hot as of lately. But unfortunately, Jim Jackson's not on the call tonight. It's an ESPN Plus game, but I can expect him to be red hot once again in JJ's image in this game here tonight. But for the Flyers, who's trending down on this night, like I mentioned, it's been the woes as of lately. The Flyers trying to beat teams that are over the 500 mark, and it's been a cause for concern as of lately. But trying to add a little bit of a boost as they go as they head into the homestand of the Flyers, looking to try to get back on a track, especially for the first time in a while, being home at Wells Fargo Center. And the last time the Flyers were home before the holiday break. So it was exactly 3.5 weeks before the holiday break. And it will be good to know that the Flyers can sleep in their own beds. And it'll be a good thing for the Flyers to do is to get ready for this big matchup here tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And also many games coming up against teams that are over 500. And it starts tonight and then again on Thursday night when the Dallas Stars come to town for a visit for the first time this season. All right, let's check out our injuries and scratches for this game here tonight. For the injuries and scratches, basically the same it's been the same injuries as it has the last couple games. Nothing changed as Nick Delorier is still dealing with a lower body injury, and Sam Ersson is still looking to try to get back on track after having a lower body injury that he suffered in that road trip, in the Western road trip, and he missed the last couple games due to that lower body injury. And the only scratch in this game tonight, I would be sure everybody's going to be concerned about this, but it's not a cause for concern, but it's Matvei Michkov, and I can understand why he is a healthy scratch in this game tonight. Maybe it's just more of the recharging of the batteries after a road trip, and also try to get him just not try to get him away from the game, but obviously just to try to get his head right. And obviously, but for everybody out there who's going to say that this is another thing that John Tortorella is doing, it's not it at all. It's not exactly what you expect. So for me, I think this is a very smart move that Matvei Michkov is not playing in this game tonight, but I expect him to be back in the lineup on Thursday night when the Flyers, like I said, mentioned Dallas, and also when the Flyers take on another team on Saturday night when they take on the Ducks, and also a couple games of a back-to-back between the Panthers and I think it's there's another team that they're playing on that Tuesday night as well. So it's a first of a back-to-back, but there's a lot more home games to go around. And this is one team that I mean, I think this is a very smart idea that Matvei Michkov is not in this game tonight. Not saying that I don't condone like healthy scratches and also players being benched, but maybe this will be a good mindset for him to just to get his bearings back and just try to do whatever he can to get back in a role again after that road trip. That was a little bit, wouldn't say it wasn't the best, but it could have been a lot better. I'm not saying it was Michkov's fault, but it was also at the same time trying to do whatever he can to keep trying to get like everybody's footing back before the games get closer and closer. I mean, obviously we got a few more games left to go before the that road trip that kind of like the All-Star game that they have is taking over for the All-Star game around February to the 12th to the 20th. So, I mean, I expect him will be back for that game, obviously. But like I said, this is one of the games that the Flyers need tonight, obviously. But also with Michkov not playing tonight, it's going to be, I'm not concerned about it. I'm not going to just rip John Tortorella a new one because this is a part of hockey, and I think this might be a good recharge of the batteries for him to try to get him, not get his mind right, obviously, but at the same time get him, try to get him more. Like I said, it's just like one of those things that could happen, but sometimes you have to understand why John Tortorella is doing what he is doing. And also, it's not because he does it for spite. He tries to do it because he wants the team to have more fire in them as well. Anyway, let's get into our starting goaltender matchup here tonight for this Flyers Maple Leafs matchup for the second time in a couple days. In goal tonight for the Flyers, it will be Ivan Fedotov yet again for the guys in orange and black tonight as they begin the homestand. And also, he has a record of 4-4-2 this season. The second loss happened on Sunday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs that happened in overtime. So he got an overtime point out of it and also an overtime loss out of it. So like I say, he's 4-4-2 this season and has a goals against average of 3.42. And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it is Joseph Woll. And that's what his real name is. I'm not saying whoa, that's crazy. No, I'm telling you, it's spelled W-O-O-L. W-O-L-L, pardon me. And this is one of the surprises of him this season. You want to talk about if you want to talk about that his record is outstanding. He has a 13-6-0 record and has a goals against average of 2.48. So blowing the tires off in the NHL right now. I didn't expect him to be this good, but that will be a big challenge in this game here tonight for the guys in orange and black. And for my predictions in this game here tonight, I would say this could be a get-right game for the Flyers to finally get back into a feel again and try to get back to where they are back when they first started, obviously. This is one of those games that you can expect, okay, this game could be good for the Flyers to finally get a boost after a long, exhausting road trip. But Austin Matthews is still on that other bench. Obviously, you still have to deal with Mitch Marner, William Nylander, even like John Tavares, yada, yada, yada. So I say the Flyers will win, but I would not be surprised if the Maple Leafs did win here in this game here tonight because Maple Leafs are one of those best teams in the AHL right now, and this is one of the reasons why they're having one of their best. I would say they're not having their best seasons like the Bruins have, but it's also one of those things that, if they lose this game, you have to wonder. It's like either that Mitch Marner scored a goal, obviously Austin Matthews scoring a goal. So they got a lot of talent on that team. So that is a big key in this game here tonight. So for me, if the Flyers can win tonight, that will be a good thing and also a good response. But if the Flyers don't win, you can understand why that they haven't won a game in a while, and against teams that are over 500, that's going to be something to remind ourselves here as we get closer and closer to puck drop. All right, that is a wrap for the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show. But remember to stay tuned after the game for the Third Line John Flyers postgame show with Pat Benoit and his buddy Pavel, who, by the way, was on with us on Sunday night when they recap with me and Joey Mark. So it's the two guys will have you all covered for that game. We'll recap all of that Flyers game, especially when that clock hits zero, immediately when the game goes final. So it's Pat and Pavel for the Third Line John Flyers postgame show immediately, like I said, after the game goes final. And I will be back again on Thursday night for the pregame show once again. This time, the Flyers will be playing the Dallas Stars for the first time this season. And I'll be back at my usual time at 6:30 pregame show, and then puck drop at 7 o'clock here at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philadelphia. Well, that's going to do it for me here. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed the game. And this has been the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show, and I am your host, James Scorza, saying so long from here, and until then, we will see you next time, and let's go Flyers.